This the War Report, coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report After Dark. Took us a little while to get there. It's a long intro, but Little Wyatt 6. Obvious reasons why I'm starting with it. We gotta get right into the main event of SmackDown to start off the show. Because I am so glad that they kept this music and the feels of Bray Wyatt in that building that night was unbelievable. Well, welcome everybody to another edition. How's everybody doing?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Good. Well, so let's get right into it. We had the in-ring debut on SmackDown of the Wyatt Six. They looked good together. They looked great together. And of course they got over. I thought it was so well done. Everything with Howdy just rocking in the chair, just like Bray used to. Having Abigail the Witch, whatever, Cross sitting there. And then afterwards, and paying the homage. It was just great. And it was a great way to go off the air. Well, they didn't really go off the air with that, but we'll get into that too. But what do you guys think about the in-ring debut of the Wyatt Six?
They exceeded my expectations. Because I didn't know how they would be in the ring, but they flowed well together. The match was good. That's what I think is the main thing that people were worried about. And honestly, those people that were skeptical can shut up.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, I guess they did a good job delaying the process to make sure that they gelled together when they got in the ring for the first time. I thought it was a good job. They're making their own character per se right now, so that was pretty cool. There was a few unique moves that aren't just your standard wrestling moves that made them unique in themselves. Pay some tribute to Bray Wyatt in the process of doing that.
And Luke Harper.
And Luke Harper, yeah. So it was overall it was good. It's basically what I said they should have done a while ago, which is start messing people up. But I guess they held them back for a reason, or it was just part of the storyline. But it made sense. I liked it.
Vince, what about you? Because I know you had a lot of reservations with it.
So, and I also, they also kind of left it ambiguous intentionally, so of whether they were baby faces or heels, maybe just to see how the crowd reacted to them initially, and then they would change the story and maybe have them go against somebody else, or have Chad Gable be a baby face and there be a heels, depending on how the crowd reacted to it. Yeah, that's fine. I think the guys who should be over, like Eric Rowan, super over now. That guy, I always thought, him and Luke Harper were two guys that were always like mid-card guys that you wanted more from. And I know with Harper, the Brody Lee thing, he was set up to be, another top guy, and he would have been a main eventer. And right now, we'd probably be talking about him if he was still alive.
But
Go ahead.
No, I have a question in regards to this group. Do you think that, because that's the one thing, I think there'll be a great mid-card group. I don't ever see them taking them as all right, you're, Rocket all the way to the top, WWE champ, all that. I can see them holding a few belts, but I don't see them holding a championship belt per se, like a
like the world title.
You know what? I think if the story is right, I could see Uncle Howdy as champion. I don't know.
Who does he skip? Like, how many years are you talking down the line? Like, that same conversation. Like,
it's definitely got to be at least a year down the line.
But look at our boy.
The world titles are wrapped up, man. I think you're right. That's where they need to be right now, and that's where they're gonna be. Is the mid, because I don't want to say there's nothing in the mid card, but like WWE has really gone full bore with trying to make a lot of main eventers, and in making the main eventers, they didn't really have a mid card. It was all, talking about the Judgment Day guys and trying to set them up to be main eventers, and Cody and the New Bloodline trying to set them up to be main eventers. And then the mid card was kind of like, it was fine. Just little stuff going on. But having an established group like this with a legacy in the mid card kind of helps elevate the tag team titles or the US title or whatever they want to get to them. Do I think they should be world? If you go back when the Fiend first debuted, the Fiend was super over, and then they were like, we're going to put him right into a world title program. And they were like, oh shit, he's going to lose because we still have plans for Seth.
Right.
So then he lost. I'm glad they're not doing that this time. They're not having him go.
Well, it would be way too soon to do it now. They've only had one match.
But that's what I'm saying. They're not going right for a title. And I think that's where they need to be. Howdy, I guess, it for me is a wait and see, because Bo Dallas was always kind of a fine enough wrestler, a good hand, whatever you want to call him. Personality-wise, he was always a bit dry for me. So maybe
But now he's channeling his brother's personality, and it's working. And because he looks like him and he sounds like him, and it's just, you know what I mean? It's easy to just close your eyes and just think of Bray.
Yeah, but how about with that nostalgia's over and we're left with our old Bo Dallas? Because eventually this is going to dry up.
To me, shit like this doesn't dry up unless it's just downright horrible. So unless the writing team somehow fucks this up, which you got to be some sort of stupid to fuck this up, and let's be clear, they've done that before. But this is a new era. This is a new regime, and I see good things for this group.
My minor thing is I feel like they need to not use the name Bo Dallas ever again and just call him Taylor Rotunda.
They keep kind of doing this split.
Character didn't do anything for him. This is the real Taylor Rotunda.
And when you hear Bo Dallas, all you hear is Bo leave. And you want to separate that. Right.
The B team, the running around the ring like this thing.
That was funny, though.
Getting messed up. But remember he did it and knocked El Torito on his ass?
B team, go, go, go.
Yeah. That is still our song when you're not here.
I almost forgot, before we went live this evening, our good friend over at YouTube, David Rosca. What up, guys? Last week I had Bible study. Today I have Bible study, and again, Bible study is on Tuesday right now. Then he says, LA Knight needs to do the United States Champion Open Challenge like John Cena does. I would be okay with that, but obviously I think this feud with Logan Paul's kind of continuing. But after that, I would be okay with an Open Challenge kind of format.
I think so too, man.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it.
What I like about that is when AEW does it, or when WWE does it, or even when WCW did it, and they had a quote unquote television champion, so whether it's the TNT champ or the US champ or whatever it is, with an open challenge, it opens up. So when Cody was doing it, you got guys like Eddie Kingston came out, you had Ricky Starks come out, you had unexpected like indie guys called Warhorse during the pandemic came out. Open challenges allow you to bring in free agents, NXT guys from like Japan or whatever, see what kind of reaction they get. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they're going to lose to your champion. So it does two things. It allows that guy who's losing to kind of get a little bit of a tryout and see if they're ready for the next level. And it establishes your champion there as a workhorse. And I think after that title being on, no knock on Logan Paul, when the guy got in the ring, he put on great matches, but realistically, they saved him for pay-per-views, and he only defended that title like 3 times.
Well, because they wanted to make him an attraction,
right? But now
that
the title's right, absolutely. But now that the title's back on a wrestler, it hasn't been defended regularly in so long that if they went back to the open challenge, John Cena's going to be retiring soon, right? He's going on this retirement tour. What if John Cena is there at a SmackDown and he tells Logan Paul, "I want you to continue the open challenge for my legacy, like this is something that I established during my run, and now I'm going to retire. I want you to have this. I want you to take the U.S. Open Challenge and continue it."
I'd be totally okay with that. Tara says hello.
Hey, Tara.
She loved the Wyatt 6 segment. David Roscoe, Bronson Reed will beat Braun Breaker for the IC champion. I mean, listen, let Braun fucking be champion.
Like, he got to cook for
he just won the belt. They're putting a rocket ship in his ass. Unless he does something to really, really screw up, he's going to be champion for, I would think, quite some time. So, and with Bronson Reed, I like what they're doing with Bronson Reed, and that's more of a Raw thing. You know what? See, this is what David does to me. He always jumps ship. We're going to hold up because that's
yeah,
Raw.
But he's also a big Bronson Reed fan. You notice that he's
I am too.
Yeah. So I know, but I've noticed during the predictions and stuff, he always predicts Bronson Reed's going to be the IC champ, or he's going to win win a tournament or something. So I'm starting to tell who his favorites are.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the Bloodline. And I want to talk a little bit about Roman Reigns. And I want to talk a little bit about Jacob Fatu. And before I do, our good friend Dave Abbey over at YouTube, the Wyatt could be interesting if they keep going after factions. I could see them ending the Final Testament, Judgment Day, and if they build up enough steam, the Bloodline 2.0. I could see all of that, quite frankly.
So, could they break up the Pure Fusion Collective or whatever the hell that shit is?
What the fuck?
We'll get into that when we talk about Raw, but still,
don't be David Roscoe right now. But now you're gonna get me all fired up already. This fucking what a stupid fucking name. But anyway, so
our future women's champion.
Which one?
Who?
Tag team champion.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Who are we referring to?
Isn't this shit team?
Yeah, it's the Scissor Sisters. They're going to be...
Shut your damn mouth.
Gentlemen, the lesbians.
They are probably going to win them, though.
Remember I told you had to talk about it the day they win the championship, and by the way, they are on track to be your next women's tag team champion.
You just made the list!
Yeah, so by the way, Dave Abbey put his comment up because we're going to make it official. On this show, we are not calling them whatever
the Scissor Sisters.
They are not the Pure Fusion Collective or whatever they are. They are Dave's name. They are the Scissor Sisters. When we talk about them, we're talking about the Scissor Sisters, not the Acclaim of the Scissors.
By default, I will not be able to use that name. So
I know.
I would be calling her Shit Stinks.
Oh, fine. I like how that one's the acceptable one.
That one works for me too. Anyway, listen, let's talk about things that are important. I want to talk about everything that went down. So, first of all, let's go back to SummerSlam, and we're going to talk about that spot with Jacob Fatu, splash off the top, right? And again, when it first happened, it looked like a work. But then he started punching the guardrail and freaking out. And I was like, he really legitimately seems pissed off, like something really went wrong. And then I started thinking, all right, this is a real deal. And now it's in my head like, well, shit, how long is he going to be out? Because he's given this Bloodline 2.0 credibility more than anyone else in this new Bloodline. So then you come to find out it was really a work. And it makes sense because they want to keep Jacob and Roman as far away from each other as possible and not have a confrontation yet, because Jacob is the only credible one in the Bloodline that could really, let's say, take down Roman. But I said last week, what if? And Al, I think, is the one that said, definitely not going to happen. And I said, what if Jacob is actually aligned with Roman? And that's why he had the injury. So that would be something very interesting.
Yeah, but you have so many more Samoans signed. It doesn't make sense right now to do that because you just said it. He makes 2.0. For me, he puts the 2.0 in Bloodline 2.0 because he is that second guy. He is the enforcer, you know? If you take him away, they look very vulnerable because Tanga Toa, is it Tanga Tonga?
Well, there's Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, hence the problem.
Tama Tonga is a great bump taker, and Tanga Loa is a horrible wrestler. He doesn't even know how to hold the belt correctly, so he has bigger issues. I just don't see it with them by themselves being credible behind.
They would have to get another. They would have to get another Samoan in there that would bring credibility.
Why don't you give that Samoan to Roman?
Because the crowd is not going to boo Jacob Fatu. Listen to the pop every time Jacob Fatu comes out. So maybe it's better to have him as a face and be aligned with Roman than to be a heel and associated with Solo. That's my only thing.
Well, then with this Bloodline, you need The Rock as the main guy.
Well, that's going to be revealed. The Rock, because The Rock is not around full time, he's going to have to reveal himself as the puppet master of this new Bloodline Royal Rumble season, whatever, leading up to WrestleMania, depending on what direction they go. Because some people are saying that it's going to be maybe The Rock against Cody. We still have to get this Rock against Roman match, so I don't know if they're pushing that to not WrestleMania in Vegas, not 41, but 42, because Roman should be does Roman wrestle solo at WrestleMania? I don't know if that's
I don't think so. They're doing that now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So by Rumble time, maybe we do the singles match for Roman and Solo.
Yeah, I could see that. But I also then want to get to SmackDown, where we had the return of Roman on SmackDown. And he beat them all down. And it was just that image of him holding I don't know what you call it.
Ula Fala or whatever it is, yeah.
Sure, we're going to go with that. Him holding that and then losing it. But it was just that moment where you're like, wow, the tribal chief is back. Only thing missing, Paul Heyman, but I'm sure the wise man's coming soon. So, but it'll be interesting. I want to hear him talk. I want him to kind of put his crew together. I want to see Jimmy and Jay get back together, and I want to see our honorary Usos.
Well, think about it. We haven't seen the most important thing as fans when we have this transition. We still haven't heard a Roman Reigns face promo.
Right.
And that's what we're waiting for. We want to see how that sounds like, because he looks great in the ring, getting everybody pumped up, but, there's a thin line between his heel and face work in the ring because he's just a savage.
Right.
I want to hear him on the mic, and that's what we're waiting for.
Dave Abbey Solo has too many losses to be credible. Well, I agree. That's been part of the problem. Tara, exactly. I need Heyman. Yep. So, but yeah. So I mean that is part of the problem. But Tara I love the way this is going.
I do. Tara has my favorite comment. It is completely non sequitur, but I just want to show everybody. Instead of the final testament, they're the final testicle.
Well, that was Kofi said that last night.
Oh, that's I love that. That is such an apt description of that group. But I love this bloodline thing right now because it's. I wish somebody could sit down with Vince McMahon right now, and I think the man's completely lost it anyway. But I just want to have a sit down conversation with him about this and go. All you had to do when the Shield broke up was have Roman Reigns turn heel instead of forcing him down everybody's throats for almost a decade so we got sick of him. If he had a heel run like The Rock did and went from die, Rocky, die to everybody chanting for The Rock because his heel persona was so interesting that it turned him babyface. That's all we had to do. We put up with the shittiest version of Roman Reigns for almost 10 years. Blue contact lenses, suffering succotash, all this horse shit. The fans saw it. The fans, all of, even myself included, recognized that Roman Reigns back in 2011, whatever, had everything. He had it. He had the potential to be the top guy. And instead of letting it happen naturally, they fucking forced it, and it didn't work. Now, they let Roman go on this 3-year-long heel run. And exactly what was supposed exactly what was supposed to happen happened. The heel run establishment got the fans who wanted to boo him, and then once they got that out of the way, they could show this is the Roman Reigns you want as a babyface. Just wait until consequences for Creed Jones.
I unfortunately think it's coming, and I don't see why they're splitting them up. But we'll get into that more when we get into Raw.
That just tells me that Big E is probably done forever, and they don't want to do the New Day without Big E. They don't want to do it with a new member. They did say they would never split up, but I guess the New Day never split up. It's just Woods and Kofi, and they could always reunite. But yeah, I think we're on the road, man. You're starting to see the hints. They're dropping the hints, the facial expressions, the little phrases and promos and stuff. Yeah,
it's definitely coming. So we'll have to see. But it'll be interesting to see. Does Paul Heyman show up this week? Do we get our first full promo?
I want an acknowledge me and see and hear the pop for that.
Oh, he's gonna. That's the first thing.
That's the first thing. And it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna go. I mean, poor Cody Rhodes. This guy quits WWE, founds a whole other company, works in Ring of Honor in New Japan, does this whole AEW thing, and then leaves abruptly to show up as a surprise at WrestleMania. He works for 2 or 3 years to get this main event and win the title, and he's the world champ, and he's not even the most important guy on his show. And it's just oh, brother, he's not. And it's not that he's doing bad work. It's just that at the end of the day, the guy in WWE, no matter who's holding the belt, either belt, the guy in WWE is Roman Reigns. And
it's like Cody had just when he won the title at WrestleMania, he was the guy, the most important guy, until the next night on Raw.
Bro, they came out at the end of WrestleMania and basically took a bow and had the curtain drop. They had Bruce Pritchard and Triple H out there at the end. You never. That's like having, Stanley Kubrick come out the end of the Shining and wave at everybody. You know what I mean? It's like you ended the movie. You just told us that was the end. So Cody's run started and ended.
He was in the hotel too.
The same day. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said last week, 30 days before we get Cody Sucks chance. It might just be, man. This is a weird. And here's what I want to know. This is the thought experiment for the viewers and for the guys here. Cody Rhodes, one of the tensions in AEW was that the crowd wanted Cody to turn heel. Tony Khan wanted Cody to turn heel. He did not. He wants to be this very ultra babyface, pure babyface character. Shades of gray sometimes when he needs to get nasty. Like in AEW, he would dye his hair black again or something. Like he did little shit like that. But he really wanted to be a straight up babyface. If Roman is the top guy and we get it to a point where Roman and Cody are in the ring together having a stare down and the crowd is more Roman than they are Cody, and Triple H at a meeting goes, Cody, we need you to turn heel so you can drop the title to Roman. What does he do? I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. So he's an employee. But what I'm saying is like his idea of never turning heel is like the shelf life on that is slowly deteriorating.
I mean, you don't think they'll do a double face title match? They've done that before.
They might, but I mean, the crowd's going to pick somebody in that match. They always do.
I mean, but you could also have the back and forth because you can have the let's go Roman, let's go Cody.
I think we're going to have at least one Mega Powers tag match where Cody and Roman tag with each other, and they'll be big baby faces. But yeah, man, I think the time's going to come, and the fans, like you said, might cheer for both of them initially. But I think if you keep them on TV together, eventually the crowd's going to choose, or they're going to have to choose.
Well, I think it's better for them to have nothing to do with each other. Honestly.
And they're not. The whole thing was intentional. Yeah. Cody being on the ground and all this other shit during the pay-per-view.
See, this is why I pitched Rock comes back, wins the belt from Cody at Survivor Series. Then he reveals himself to be the mastermind of the other 2.0. Maybe perhaps helps them win later on or something like that. And then we lead to Roman Rock at WrestleMania.
Cody Rhodes is going to lose the belt to Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
You're sticking to your story,
which is going to set up Orton, Cena down the line. Or he loses the belt to him like at Survivor Series, where he could set up Orton, Cena at WrestleMania. And then Cody could face, I don't know, anybody.
Oh, see, my other thing was like if Rock beats Cody, but it's because that's when Randy turns on Cody. And then you do the Randy-Cody feud without the belt. And I know, even though Roman Rock does not need the title, it's going to overshadow everything on the card anyway.
But my thing is, I'm thinking about the future. My thing is that title needs to land on Orton one way or another because he needs to face John Cena for his 17th championship.
But if Orton wins it, then he breaks the record first.
No, he gets his 15th. He doesn't break the record.
Oh, okay. I thought I thought him and Cena were tied. My bad.
No, it's him and Flair.
But I thought, yeah.
All I know is they better not have Gunther drop the belt already.
That's not going to happen.
Gunther should never drop that fucking belt.
Gunther's going to fight. I believe Gunther's going to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
That's the match everybody's wanted since that Rumble.
And he'll keep the belt.
Because fans have been booking that for years now.
Yeah, since that Royal Rumble, a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it is. I'm going to dust
Cena,
off.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I was going to say, and Cena is the one that's going to fight Braun Breaker because he's never won the IC title before.
See, I like that.
He'll get his IC title match
at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania,
that might not be bad. But would he win?
He should. And he could drop it to Braun Breaker later on, and then he'll go after the WWE Championship in the 17th.
See, I'm with Dave here, where he says Gunther and Breaker should both have year-long reigns, and to dust off an old joke I used to, I think I used to say it about either Brock Lesnar or The Fiend, but this applies to Gunther. The only way anybody should be beating him for that title is with a fucking gun. Like, you can't, but right now there's nobody on that roster that can beat him.
Get that dude from the Olympics.
Yeah, that's the one, the guy, DJ.
Yeah, he's with the pocket.
Yeah, he'd have his hand in his pocket, shoot him. That's the only, Arn Anderson with the Glock. That's the only way you can beat this guy. He's starting. It's amazing what this guy can do with English not being his first language. He can cut a fucking promo. He's huge. He comes out, he has this intimidating presence, and then he can wrestle his ass off. And the ability to tell a story during a match, it's not a lost art, but it's endangered, let's say. Gunther's matches have a story to them. They've got a structure to them. And he's fantastic. He's a great choice for a world champ. I'm glad everything we had been saying, even in the year leading up to this, is like when we've said this for a while now. When Gunther challenges for a world title, he has to win, and he did. And I think he's proving now why he had to win. The job that he's doing right now is like, it's proved the fans right and the people that were supporting him, and like people were assuming, he's going to come up here. He's going to be Gunther. They're going to make him look like a Nazi. He's going to be the typical foreign heel. It's going to do all this. You know, we had the pattern in our head, because whenever they promote foreign heels like a Rusev, it's all kind of the same thing. The Rusev, the Iron Sheiks, whatever, Volkovs. I mean, it's all the same kind of thing.
That's how they started Fritz von Erich.
Right. But now, so they didn't go that way. He was still an international foreign villain guy, but he's not like you people in your American country. You know what I mean? Like,
he's not Ludwig Borga, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. No, and I like what he's doing, man. I've liked this guy back when he was chubby on the indies and chubby in NXT. Now he's like this leaned out, super cut guy. I mean, this guy's.
It's funny too, because at first when he lost all that weight and he got leaned out, I thought, now he kind of looks like smaller. And not as intimidating, but honestly, no, it worked.
Yeah, I for my bang for my buck, and I know it's not as healthy. I liked the extra weight on him because, like you said, he looked like a bruiser. And not that he doesn't now, but there's just something about when you know somebody at one size. It's like when Hogan leaned out in like 1993 or 94 during the steroid thing. Like you had an image of Hulk Hogan in your head, and then you see him, you're like, oh, he's all skinny. So it's such a minor pick though, because when he gets in there, he hits hard, he chops hard, big. You know, he's tall, so he stacks up with guys like a Damian Priest. He can pick them guys up and he can throw them around. And when he wrestles with a little guy, he looks good wrestling with a little guy. So the whole thing, I mean, he is a complete package kind of guy. And like Dave said, keep that title on him for as long as you can, and you do another kind of storyline with a guy like Sammy that's like an underdog fighting to battle to win the world title. And finally, when somebody beats him, it should be a big deal. It should be like when Brock Lesnar loses.
Yeah. Fun fact about Gunther, ever since he's been employed in WWE, including NXT, he's held a championship belt for 75% of the time he's been here.
Damn.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Dave Abbey, I think Gunther wins, but it's not going to be clean, and it's going to cause a heel turn for Randy, which could lead to Al's theory of him turning on Cody.
Yeah, because he's on Raw right now.
Yeah.
Randy Orton has pledged his allegiance to Raw.
Well, because he's been given this opportunity.
Well, you know what? Right. It could be one of the Bloodline 2.0 members that goes in, interferes, costs him the match, which is going to lead to them tag teaming, and then he'll still have a grudge for the fact he left, and he still turns on him one way or another.
Yeah, we should get a Randy Cody tag match against the Bloodline, and then it would make sense for Orton to turn on him then.
Right. Because they had that beef, what was it, a week ago in SmackDown? Last week, right? That they all got in the ring and they were like, wasn't he? Oh, no, that was Kevin Owens.
Yeah, it was Kevin Owens.
But Randy Orton,
Randy Orton did get, I believe Randy Orton got him, like,
there's
after,
been like
ran out second.
3 or 4 times that we've visibly seen Randy look at the title.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's making his intentions known.
So moving on to Raw. Mommy kicks it off. Cuts a great promo. And then Dominic and Liv come out in the crowd to cut their promo, where Dominic explains why he did what he did to Mommy, and that Liv lets him have all the tendies that he wants and lets him play his video games and calls him daddy. And I thought it was a great segment. And then Damian Priest is standing behind them, and then a fight ensues. I thought it was a great, solid way to start, which also led to the announcement that Bash at the Berlin, we're getting a mixed tag, Rhea and Damian versus Liv and Daddy Dom.
I'm here for it.
I love it. In fact, Liv went off the cuff responding to the crowd and says, I'll take all of Dirty Dom's seconds that I can, or something like that.
Sloppy seconds.
I love sloppy seconds.
What I thought was funny is there are a lot of legitimate reasons that Dom could be like, Rhea abused me. She was rough on me. Like, she treated me badly. All this day, he could have had a legitimate beef, right? And instead, he goes, "I got my tendies and my video games." Like, such a.
It was so fucking funny.
But he really could have had one of those heels that's justified, but there's still a heel thing. Nope, they didn't even go that way. He's like, "I just like my chicken tendies."
One of my favorite lines I'm loving from him right now is when he says in Spanish, "Déjeme hablar." Like when he says, "Let me talk" in Spanish when everybody's booing him. It's because he sounds so Mexican when he say, "I love it." Like he changed up the character real quick, and me knowing exactly what he's saying is great. I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." But he's really like, again, like, if you've been listening, Dominic's my favorite heel in wrestling as we speak right now. So I love him.
Doing such a great
He's just
job.
awesome. He's a great, like, what I like to call like a bad heel, like a guy that can't win without losing kind of type. Like, and he's just as best as it gets for that. He's very good at being that character. He's a punk.
Right, and this was another thing. I know this might have been before your time, Al. I think it was before you and Mitch came on the show. But there was a point when Dom first came out. His first couple matches, he was very impressive, but he was just like tagging with his dad. He was just like this babyface kid, and we're all like, this just ain't working. Like, if he turns heel, and it was another situation of like a Roman Reigns or a young Rock situation, just turn this guy heel, give him a chance to like get out there and get a little personality rather than just being, "I am Rey Mysterio's son." He needed more than that, and this was.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I was on the show already, bro.
You might have been.
I've been on the show for a little because I remember that conversation. Yeah, we were saying that because he came out with like the little leotard, just like his father. He's like, he's never gonna live up to his name.
Yeah,
he's got to get out of his shadow. Is the best way.
Yep, absolutely. Dave. Yeah,
they need to add an enforcer because this Judgment Day is not intimidating at all, which is very true.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they
have an enforcer.
It's Jacob.
They don't let him out.
But
the demon.
Of Judgment. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking Blood. Yeah, Judgment Day. Yeah, the demon. First of all, this Judgment Day. What is the new Judgment Day? It's J.D. McDonough and Finn Balor and Carlito
and Dirty Dom.
Dom and
Carlito.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Listen, no knock on Carlito, but I think the Judgment Day, they have a clubhouse, the logo and the whole thing, and they wear leather vests. It's like a biker gang, right? And they hang out in the clubhouse, and their flag is hanging up. None of these guys, like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley looked like they were in a biker gang, and the whole thing kind of worked, and the whole thing trickled down from there. In the same way that they're not using Judgment Day to describe Rhea and Damian Priest, they're calling them the Terror Twins, which I don't really like that either, but it's something. I don't think this should be the Judgment Day anymore. I think they should come up with a different name.
I mean,
I'm almost afraid for them to come up with a different name because the names lately have been fucking horrible.
That's true. But it just, I don't know. I get, to me, the Judgment Day, because it was started by Edge, and he incorporated guys like Damian Priest, who had kind of a darker character, and Finn Balor, who has his demon character. There was a certain spookiness or aura to them that fit the name Judgment Day. There was supposed to be like an aura of whatever. These guys don't. I mean, they're all, the tallest person in the group is Liv Morgan.
Wow.
Like,
no,
Jesus
Dominic
Christ. Okay, maybe it's Dominic. Well, fuck me.
Liv Morgan's crazy.
But see,
Liv Morgan's crazy.
I have
and
an
it's
idea
true.
about
That's the problem.
J.D. McDonough just fits in her pocket and comes along for the ride. Like, he doesn't even have to walk. He's so small.
She can't fit his head in that pocket.
Huh.
That's a big ass. You could put his body in there, but that big ass bobblehead staying outside.
So I want to talk a little bit about Odyssey Jones because this big ass motherfucker's impressing the hell out of me. And the way he was moving last night on Raw in his singles match, he was facing Enhancement Talent, who, fun fact, is dating Cora Jade, in case anyone wanted to know. and it was a complete massacre, as you would expect. But this guy can move, and he's damn near 400 pounds.
Where'd he come from? What did he do? Football? What?
I think it was football.
Football? He looks like a tackle with them sweet feet.
Like last week when he lifted AOP, both members.
Like they were nothing.
Like, yeah.
That was
incredible.
Wild.
He can I think he deadlifted like 800 pounds or something.
I have a quick question. What right now for each one of us is your favorite move in active wrestling? Like your most impressive move right now?
The Canadian Destroyer.
I mean, Canadian Destroyer is always up there.
That's always been my favorite.
No. I'm sorry. Let me rectify. WWE. Let's keep it in WWE.
Well, Bad Bunny used the Canadian Destroyer not too long ago.
He did.
You know?
What I like is Buddy Murphy / Buddy Matthews has a move, and it's not his move. I think it's from Japanese wrestling, but it's called the Whale Hunt, and I think he uses it as his finisher, and it's like it's almost like a Samoan drop combined with one of those snap slams that Randy Orton does. You like get the guy up and you kind of fake like you're going one way, and then you go the other way with him, and like it's the only way I can describe it is go look up Whale Hunt wrestling move or Buddy Murphy, I think Buddy Matthews finisher, and that'll be it. But I like that one a lot. Like I think it's an impactful looking. It's like an upgrade of the attitude adjustment.
Okay. All right. Upgrade. All right. I got a better picture now. Upgrade attitude adjustment. How about you, Steve?
I mean, if I'm not going with the Canadian Destroyer, I would have to go with, honestly, something as simple as the RKO has always been one of my favorites.
Well, only when Randy Orton does it.
Well, right. From Randy Orton. And it's got the out of nowhere RKOs. It could only be
the RKO from Randy Orton.
Right. I mean, even in the wrestling games, when I create my guys, one of my two finishers is always the RKO. Always.
100%. My big two were always either the RKO or the stunner, depending on what game it was, and whatever their equivalent of the last ride.
Yeah. Yeah. The last ride was always a big one.
How about you, Eric?
I've always, and I know he's not really with, there now. He might come back, but Brock's F5 is up there.
Yeah, for sure.
His F5 when he does the instead of the one where he kind of sits out and it's like a cutter, when he has somebody light enough and he like throws them off of his shoulder like a fucking hammer throw and they spin in the air once or twice before hitting the ground. I love that.
I'll tell you what though, Sammy's Blue Thunder Bomb is pretty. I almost feel like that should be his finisher instead of the Helluva Kick.
Blue Thunder Bomb is so fucking.
Eric, that's actually my second favorite. My first favorite is actually just something as simple, and it's just recently because it's what's his name, Bronson Reed off the top rope doing it consecutively.
Oh, the tsunami.
It's the tsunami. It's just like a man that big coming off the top rope that quick and that many times. It's so impressive. And the crowd gets behind it, and it's like awesome.
Even your top baby faces, the crowd's still chanting one more time. Which is so fucked up.
No, that's how powerful the move is, though.
Right? I love what they're doing with Bronson Reed right now.
They are. I think they're figuring out that. I mean, the good thing for me is when they allowed his personality, like they started giving him more mic time, right? He wasn't just a guy that went in there and fucked you up. Now they allowed him to talk, story build a little bit more, have a little bit more say within the story, and then still fuck you up. And now develop him a little bit more in the ring, which I think is awesome. And, I respect guys like him, man. Like, that's a big dude. He carries a lot of weight around that ring when he's doing all that, and he wrestles his good 15, 20-minute matches, and it's impressive. It's impressive. He hangs with the best of them.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Tara, okay, wait, I have a question. I didn't see his Raw segment. Is he officially in the New Day, or is he just like a corner man for them? He's like honorary right now because they're going to have a 6-man tag next week against the Final Testament. So, so we'll see.
Who's she talking about? Carlito?
No, she's talking about Odyssey Jones.
Oh, New Day. Okay.
I say the day they that Kofi tries to enshrine him in the New Day, that's the day the heel turn happens.
Yeah,
with
I can see
Xavier.
that. Alpha Academy versus American Made. We had the heel turn with I don't even know her name. Ivy Nile.
Pitbull. Yeah, the Pitbull.
But let me tell you, when they advertised, up next this match, I was like, all right, well, I wasn't like, I got to tell you, it was one of the best matches of the entire night. It was entertaining as hell.
A very good match.
And it was Tosawa was great, even with a massive botch in the middle, and he recovered quickly and great. Otis is so beyond over, it's ridiculous. It was really well done, and the heel turn, was great. You kind of saw it coming because they did a pre-taped thing where she said, come with us kind of thing, and she said no, and then Ivy's like, I knew you would say that, and you were like, all right, she's going to show her allegiance to her crew, so she's going to turn on her, and that's exactly what she did. The newly face Damage Control,
which came out of nowhere,
against Shitstain Starks and Shayna Baszler. How was the match? Because Shitstain was in it, I didn't watch.
It's actually pretty good. It was pretty decent. It wasn't bad. I mean, I'll tell you what, the crowd loves Singh. They absolutely love her. The crowd is always behind her. But, overall, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't.
By the way, this is a match I would tune in to watch. Otis was just on NXT and got power slammed by Obafemi. I would like to see Obafemi versus Otis. I think that's going to be an outstanding match. We did a lot of talking about Orton. We did a lot of talking about Gunther. They had a hell of a promo last night. And then, of course, Gunther took some blows talking about Randy's grandfather and father. And then Drew McIntyre's music hits and the RKO came out of nowhere. So that was great. But I thought all around that was a great segment. I mean, Orton's great on the mic. The crowd was singing him out. It was all around. And Gunther, like we said, phenomenal on the microphone. I mean, it's a great build. And then that's when we got Bronson Reed with all his fucking tsunamis to our hidden treasure, R-Truth. So who knows how long he's going to be out. But I got to tell you, it wasn't a squash match with Miz either, as I thought it was going to be. Miz put on a hell of a match. I mean, you knew Miz was going to lose, but I'm glad it wasn't just a squash.
Great promo in the back also with Orton, R-Truth, and Miz before he went out. That was pretty good.
That was
You think he's going to win?
No.
No.
And then, of course, we got the main event, the best 2 out of 3 falls. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker for the IC title. 2 out of 3 falls, it always goes the way you think. One's going to get 1, one's going to get 1, it's going to come down to 3. I thought it was great. Start to finish, including the finish. I thought it was great. Braun Breaker is just, he's on his way. I'm a big fan. And again, they had to keep the belt away from Sammy at this point because now it's just a matter of time before our honorary Uso returns home to the island of relevancy and rejoins our tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Before we go to him joining the tribal chief, because Steve, I'm warning you, this might take more than 10 minutes after I start this conversation.
It needs to happen now, but go ahead.
You said Braun Breaker is on his way. Now, he's already holding an IC title. Let's give him a year. He gets rid of the title. Are the other 2 titles clear enough for him to take one of them? Because Raw is stating they want the head tribal chief to go to Raw because of Netflix. They either want him or Cody Rhodes. So is Braun Breaker beating Cody Rhodes, or is he beating the tribal chief?
I honestly cannot answer that question. It's way too early.
Well,
there's just too many questions, especially with this move to Netflix and what kind of roster adjustments they're going to make. I think it's too early to say, to be honest.
I've got a proposal for you, Al, because as of right now, you want Bron Breakker versus John Cena for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, correct?
Right. So that means he loses it.
To Cena, right? So then he's free of that. But you also said that eventually Randy Orton should be winning a world title so that him and Cena can clash for that world title.
Because I said Bron Breakker could get his title back in like a Raw main event or something like that.
But how about this? John Cena at this upcoming WrestleMania, John Cena takes the title from Bron Breakker, the IC title from Bron Breakker, and then drops it to whoever is going to be the next guy for the IC title. Because that's going to be like with Gunther. Gunther was done with the IC title and has moved up to world title after this last WrestleMania. We're going to assume the same thing with Braun. He loses the IC title to John Cena, but he actually moves up. And basically what I'm saying is Braun doesn't have a title going into the WrestleMania. He loses to John Cena. The next year, he doesn't have a title. But John Cena beat Randy Orton at some point and has the world title. So a year later, let's say Bron Breakker wins the Royal Rumble and faces John Cena for the world title and beats him to get his win back from the year before.
That doesn't sound bad either.
But I don't know how long Cena's sticking around.
Well, he said he's definitely wrestling at WrestleMania, but that's not his last match, right?
Right. But I don't know if it's the end of the year, like December 31st, or if it's like a year from WrestleMania.
I mean, you figure he's going to retire at a big SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
I mean, so at a big event, either SummerSlam or the next WrestleMania. I can't see him retiring no other way or no other place. So he said this is his last WrestleMania, so I could only assume it will be SummerSlam retirement match, which he'll drop whatever belt he has, if he has one, and then he'll have his Raw speech at Raw the night after.
Right.
Or the Monday after.
It did say that he's going to be wrestling for pretty much till the end of 2025.
Oh,
okay. Hold on a second. I have breaking news.
Breaking news.
If this is true, as of this moment, Bobby Lashley has been released from his WWE contract and is officially a free agent.
Oh, we've known this for weeks.
Bobby knew there was.
I didn't know that.
It's been online that they're not going to renew his contract, but I don't know if he's. Are they releasing him ahead of time? Because they were just going to let the contract expire, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But then he started going online and saying some shit about Triple H, so maybe they just fired his ass or released him because he was starting to give bad press.
Oh, really?
He went on some like interviews and kind of him and MVP have been implying that they didn't have the closest relationship with Triple H and it might be racially motivated.
Oh, that's smart.
And there's speculation online that Odyssey Jones being called up was in response to MVP and Bobby Lashley calling out Triple H for not pushing black talent. Listen, it's not me. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what people are saying.
I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense, though. If you look at, like, the guys that have been getting most TV time, right? Like R-Truth and Jade Cargill.
I was just saying, even the women's division.
Bianca Belair and, I mean, you know, the list goes on. Trick Williams. What's his face?
Carmelo Hayes.
Thank you, Carmelo Hayes. Like, I don't know. It's very easy these days to just go that direction.
Right.
You know, it's...
So I'll look into that too about whether or not Bobby Lashley's contract just expired or if they've actually released him early.
You know, so now that he's a free agent officially, you know, of course, you know, almost everyone's going to assume AEW.
No, it might be TNA.
TNA, I think, because he's been there before. He's been champ.
That's what I'm saying.
It would make sense. MVP is probably going to come with him.
It would be a good idea.
As his mouthpiece.
Bobby Lashley has never done well without a manager or a mouthpiece. Unfortunately. So, you know, having MVP with him would be a big benefit, and they're both going to be free agents as far as I'm aware.
And they work together in a stable in TNA.
Right. They were. Yeah, that was they did this kind of thing before the Hurt Business.
Kind of a dumb name. They called it the Beatdown Clan.
Yeah, the BDC. So WWE has a relationship with TNA now, so maybe Bobby Lashley wouldn't go there.
And back then they had what, Samoa Joe and Homicide in there?
Yes, yeah, and they were going against like the other LAX and all that stuff.
And we have to make sure that the relationship does not get tarnished between TNA and WWE, because it's been fantastic. And if that relationship went away, then we may not get as much.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland, and Canada.
I really think it's got to be played like every show. But although I guess it really doesn't matter with TNA because he's officially on the roster for WWE too.
Yeah, they did something to sign him. So,
well, and then you got Jordan Grace's contract with TNA is ending sometime this year.
Yeah,
she's going to be in WWE, but
they're going to pick up.
She has such a history with TNA, and they have this relationship between the two companies. It works out great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. But. All right, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching the top of the hour.
Yes, sir, we definitely are. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be live streaming every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so set your clocks accordingly. We're live streaming. Oh, well, didn't go up on my page today. We're up on Steve's page, the Tag Me a Date page. Steve's linked in the YouTube, which is at Tag Me a Date, and the Twitch, which is twitch.tv/War Report. Most of our social media is at Tag Me a Date. That's Tag Me a Date with no spaces. It's all one word. That's our YouTube, our Twitter, our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook page, and most of our other social media. The one different one is Twitch. As I said, twitch.tv/War Report. And that's also one word, WARREPORT. Basically, wherever you're listening to it today or watching it today, just go back to that same app tomorrow or next week. You'll know. There should be an alert. You can sign up for alerts like on YouTube. You hit subscribe and hit the bell. And then if you go on the other platforms like Twitch, you can have it remind you when somebody goes live, whatever you want to set your reminders. But we're here 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to watch the archives are both on YouTube and Twitch. You can go back and find them. I suppose you could scroll back on YouTube as well. I just feel like your thumb would get tired to go back on YouTube, since there's so much, Facebook pages are different than just like a YouTube listing. Anyway, if you prefer an audio version instead of a video version, you can check out Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Google Play Podcast. Just type in the War Report or type in Tag Me a Date. Usually you'll find us. There are two wrestling podcasts called the War Report, but ours has the graphic. The logo has the Tag Me a Date logo in it, and then the description of the podcast will mention Steve or Vince or the usual cast of characters, so it's us. You can hit subscribe. Within the hour of us going off the air, we upload the video or the audio version, to the podcast apps, and you can take it with you on your phone or your tablet if you're taking a drive or whatever it is that you need to take your podcast with and listen. If you can't get enough of me, I'll be on the radio Saturday the 17th, 99.1 PLR on your dial if you're in Connecticut, 99.1 PLR or WPLR.com if you want to listen virtually, or you can ask your smart device to play 99.1 PLR. I'll plug this again next week. I'm going to be on the air with Chaz and AJ from 7:20 to 10 a.m. next Wednesday. So I'll talk about that again tomorrow, or next week rather, and I'll plug it again so you guys can tune in, 99.1 PLR or WPLR.com. Yeah, that's it, guys. Like, subscribe. We want to thank everybody for commenting. Of course, we have David Roska. I hope you had a good Bible study, and when you come back from Bible study, leave us some comments. Thank you, Tara and Dave A, for keeping the conversation going in the comments. And if you want to join in on the conversation, drop it in the comments. When we're live, put your comment in. We'll put it right up on the screen. Like when Dave said Otis got power slammed by Obafemi, boom, we can put it up on the screen. If you have a question or a comment, we're going to drop it in there. We love having your comments. So if you want to, when we're back next week, drop it in the chat. We'll talk to you. That'll do it for us. we will be right back here. Again, whatever platform, whatever app you're using, we'll be back here 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of the War Report After Dark, brought to you by Tag Me a Date. Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, man. Have a good one.